I just kind of had a really stupid moment just now, where I basically, I started recording and tried to unpause the game, but the game kind of, but the game went unpause, and like, and then it took me a second to realize, like, oh, I'm not unpausing the game. What I'm actually doing is just unpausing. I'm stopping the recording because I have the recording set up, the record button set up to a specific thing. But I figured, since CNC is like a full day away what you call it, getting back to work, I figured we might as well just try to get him to get some money in between now and then, so he can at least try to get some paintings going to make more money. But but yeah, I've also come to realize that since my last recording is like, yeah, I'm kind of just doing essentially just vlogs.
Oh, yibs. Kunada.
Ooh, what the fuck is this? Open it up. Hmm. But yeah, I've come to realize that basically this is a vlog since I'm not really commentating about the game itself for very much. But in my defense, like there's not all that much happening in the game for me to actually consistently talk about. So I think everyone would agree. I think most people who are watching would kind of agree that it's me going off on like off-topic conversations would probably be fair enough. No, how do I sell you? How do I sell you? Yes. Wait, 10? No. Hmm. Put in the inventory and sell. And now you have money to do a painting. And then you can afford stuff later on. But I think most people would agree that it's because even like I have noticed the thing, like even in like other let's plays, like even in those videos, like people don't exclusively talk about the video game like the entire time too. Like a lot of times, like they'll just like, and I think the best let's plays are the ones where people kind of just start talking about like other stuff that's going on and whatnot. Like stuff like, well, like a little like little peeling back the curtain a little bit to like look into like their own personal lives a little. And they share stories about like what's going on with with life, with their life. Like with Chuck, I love like with Chuck Conroy and what's it called, what's his name, Tim, yeah, Nintendo Capri Sun.
Ha!
And I love, and basically they'll do the let's play, but then like at some point during let's play they'll just break out and start telling out little personal stories about their lives, and I've always like,
Yabosa?
and I feel like that's the little
Ha!
connection that that they'll make with their audience. Granted, like I'm probably never gonna hit that mark,
Payivka.
but hopefully,
Huh.
I'm hopeful. Um, but doing that. Speaking of which, speaking of like talking about personal lives, I need to stop doing that. When I'm talking about when I need to stop doing this, basically whenever I go like to scratch my nose or something, I take my hand and I block, like, and I actually block the my mouth. I blocked the space between my mouth and the mic, and every time I do that, I get a little paranoid, thinking like, oh, my audience is my mic's not gonna pick up my audio very well.
Ah, Lemana.
Oh, Reginue.
Ah.
Hmm.
Oh,
Ah, so.
But yeah, I so speaking of
Growl.
Finay.
Droga Melpunka!
Spino.
You!
Yiklaha.
But speaking of,
Wadisa.
personal lives and whatnot, so about a week ago, I went to go see the Warcraft movie,
Droba.
and personally, I think it's a really good movie. It's a really good movie. I personally really enjoy it. Like, I personally really enjoy it, but like there are people who who probably there are people who I know didn't enjoy it as much as I did, and even then, even as I say I enjoyed it, there are there are a bunch of little things that kind of annoyed me in the film, because mainly because as much as a Warcraft lore whore
Arvini.
I was when I played Warcraft, like I love learning about the lore. I love learning about little details about the game, and the story, and a bunch of things and they changed a lot of things in the movie. So I'm going to try to keep this as spoilers free as possible. That if you stumble upon this video and still want to watch the movie, I recommend you watch the movie. If you're a Warcraft fan, definitely watch the movie. But there's a lot of little changes that happen in the movie and whatnot. But recently, like yesterday actually, I had a conversation with an old friend.
Shabini. Woon Fix Shayama. Sensibi Kiniku. Swarsa. Githara.
Like I recently had a conversation with a friend, and we started talking about how we shared our opinions on it, and he was like he didn't like the movie. Yeah, that's good. Oh, so paint from reference is literally just paint. God, I should have had I really should have just had her just stand out in front of and have him paint her, but the movie was I think the movie was pretty good. However, I have to say this: the movie was very clearly, and I cannot defend, and I can't defend this point. The movie was very clearly made specifically for the fan base, and I think Blizzard knew that when they coming out. So if you're not a huge fan of Warcraft like I am, then you're probably not going to enjoy the movie as much as I did, because then again, like I said, I'm a huge fan of the movie. I'm a huge Warcraft nerd, and I basically thoroughly enjoy the movie as is. However, you may not enjoy the movie the same way I did because reasons. Because of the same, because you don't get the references, you don't get this and that, and basically, me and my friend we were disagreeing how I think it's a good movie because of and I think personally I still think even if you're not a fan of the Warcraft story or novels, that you'd still be able to get the reference, you'll still be able to enjoy the movie as is. But my friend, he disagreed, saying that it's basically alienating a fan base because there's a lot of in jokes, not jokes, in references that only a fan or a pre-existing fan would actually understand. And I'm I watched the movie and I didn't really notice a lot of things that only fans only people coming in would notice. Then again, I don't know. I enjoyed the movie for what it was. But he ended up, when we started talking about how I was saying this, because I'm of the opinion there's no actual right way to make a video game movie. Hell, even a TV show making it into a movie, there's no exclusive right way